What's going on, everyone? So Victor Wembanyama is absolutely special. I mean, he showed that coming in his rookie year. All the hype, all the excitement, all the anticipation, all the like, hey, this is the chosen one. This is the guy that is going to end the Jordan and LeBron debate. And he's off to an incredible start. San Antonio, they have their foundation piece, they have their cornerstone, they have their franchise player, and now they really need to start kind of putting the pieces to the puzzle to really contend for an NBA championship, hopefully sooner rather than later, right? Because Victor was so good right out the gate, there is, I think, this pressure of like, hey, we don't want to waste this. We have an opportunity right now, especially with the new CBA. We have an opportunity right now where he might already be a top 15 player in the league. Right? It is a rookie, and it's like we have one of those guys right now on a minimum, on a rookie contract, but basically a minimum, right? Like you have a guy on such a cheap deal. Take advantage, because eventually Victor Wembanyama, he's going to be getting a bag, right? He's going to be making 60 plus million a year. So it would be in your best interest to kind of try to expedite this as soon as possible. And you need to kind of get your running mate. Is it Devin Vassell? Is it him? Is it the guy that you're going to draft in this year's draft? Do you trade for that guy, right? Like, does Donovan Mitchell end up re-signing or sign a new extension with the Cavs, and now Darius Garland becomes available and the Spurs go to trade for Garland? Apparently they are like enamored with Garland and they really want him. Like that's their prize, right? Do you do something like that? We will see. But there's a lot of talks about this upcoming draft and what the Spurs are looking to do. So one, they are still incredibly interested in trading up to the number one pick to basically ensure that they get their guy. Right now, it kind of seems like they're between Alexander Sarr and then Riziger, right? Like that they kind of are like one of those two, right? So it's either Sarr or Riziger. I think you can make an argument for either, right? I think you genuinely, right? Do you want that perimeter wing, that versatile guy, or do you want to just kind of go big, move Victor to the 4, have like Sarr play the 5, and now you got these two just big body, versatile big men, that you can kind of build around. And then again, maybe you go trade for a Darius Garland, and now you got like Garland, Vassell, you got Sarr and Wemby, and now you're just looking for that 3-and-D, small forward. Can you go convince an OG? I think he wants like big money, and I don't think he's worth big. I think he's worth money, but I don't think he's worth that big of money. But can you maybe go get somebody like that, or maybe go pick up a young guy somewhere, whatever, right? Like you're definitely off to the right foot. So the San Antonio Spurs are really looking at their options at moving up to number one to basically ensure that they get their guy. The other thing too is the San Antonio Spurs really are focused on trading the number 8 pick. So they want to keep their 4th pick or use both to potentially move up to number 1. So they really want to keep that pick, or they want to draft number 4 and then use number 8 as leverage to go and potentially pull off a trade, right? My guess is that they'd be attaching that to Johnson and whatever else, and then trying to pull off some type of move, right? Which, some people might argue, hey, keep both picks, right? Like, get 2 young guys. But one, like, this draft is looked at as a very weak draft. This draft is looked at as a draft that, like, basically outside of the top, like, 4 or 5 guys, it's just this drastic drop-off. I mean, they've talked about, like, people have reported that, like, if you looked at this compared to any other draft, basically take off the top 5-6 guys in that draft and imagine drafting from basically number 7 on, right? Like you're not getting a superstar talent or even a potential superstar talent. Now, obviously, every draft, there are those guys that, that you think are going to be superstars that aren't, or there's the guys that you think are going to be busts that turn out to be really good or potentially even stars. It's a crapshoot. You're always taking a gamble. You're always taking a risk with these young guys. You never really know who's going to translate. I mean, some of the greatest players in the league today, were second round picks being drafted while like a Taco Bell commercial was playing or whatever, right? Or we're late in the first round or middle first round, right? So just because you're a lottery pick or anything doesn't necessarily translate. So, but the Spurs, I get it, right? Like you get a guy at number 4, cool, right? Like maybe you could get, I don't know, Clegan or something, right? If he's still there, right? And now you got that alongside Victor. Okay, you get a number 4 guy, and then you could look to trade number 8. Because the other alternative is then you're bringing in a bunch of like rookies and stuff in at number 4 and number 8, which again they're a young team, but it seems like San Antonio doesn't want to have a bunch of young guys that basically it's going to take 3, 4, 5 years to really start getting and building that momentum. It seems like they want a nice influx. Like they want a guy, like if they can get somebody at number 4, let's say Castle, Stephon Castle, right? They're looking at is that we can get like a Castle or maybe like a Dillingham, right? You get somebody like that now you got this young guy, and then we want to go and trade for, like I said, a Darius Garland, right? Like, so then now it's like, okay, well, we have Garland, we have Vassell, we have Castle, and then we have, Victor Wembanyama, and then let's go get a center. Maybe we could trade for a Mitchell Robinson or something, right? And now let's go try to make a push to be a play-in team or maybe even a playoff team, right? Like, because the alternative is that you basically drafted number 4, you drafted number 8. Now you got these 2 young guys. Let's say it's Castle and Dillingham, or it's Castle and Topic, right? Like, okay, cool. Now you got these 2 young guys that you're adding to Victor. How long do they take to kind of get along, right? How long do they take to kind of, really, really get the ball rolling, right? Like, because again, Victor was great out the gate. Victor was just very impressive out the gate, but it's not super common for, a guy. I'm not even talking about being, top 15, top 20. I'm talking about just being a really good player, like arguably all-star level player type guy right out the gate. I mean, there's guys, even in his draft, you look at like Jaime Jaquez had a really good season, or Pod had a really good season. Even Trace Jackson Davis had a good season for the Warriors, right? But you look at like Scoot Henderson really had his struggles, right? Brandon Miller had his struggles early on, kind of looked and picked it up. He had his good and bad moments, but like again, just because you're a top pick, just because you're taking a gamble always. So I think the Spurs, like, okay, we'll take the gamble at number 4, but let's look to move number 8, especially in this type of draft where it's just. But also you can make the argument that given this draft is so weak, are you going to get the value for the 8th pick like you would in any other draft, right? Like, so let's say the 8th pick is looked at as like the say top 6 cut off, right? So you're talking the 14th pick in a normal draft. 14th pick is a big difference than a lottery pick. Again, going under the assumption that, hey, cut off the top 6 of any other draft and then now start picking, right? That would make basically the 8th pick the 14th pick in a normal draft, right? Or a draft that is looked at as good. So, what is the value of the 14th? It's not the value of the 8th. So, if there is a guy that you're interested in, I think that there's an argument that you're almost better off to just take that guy and grow and develop him rather than, selling the 8th pick for pennies, peanuts. And is the 4th and 8th pick worth the number 1 pick in this year's draft, right? Because it's not this highly touted draft. And stranger things happen. You might end up getting a Sarr, or Sarr hasn't even worked out. Last we heard about reports, hasn't even worked out for Atlanta. So Atlanta might not even take him. And there's teams looking to move up to draft Clegan, right? So, you might end up just having Riziger just fall in your lap, right? Depending on how these other teams draft and move and whatnot. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? What do you think that the Spurs should do? Should they trade up for the number 1 pick? No, stay at number 4. Do you think trade number 4 and number 8, but for like more proven talent? Do you think, no, draft at 4, trade number 8? Do you think, whatever. I feel whatever your thoughts are. Love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Helps me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.